Welcome to SethCraft. The Xtool D1 Pro 20-watt laser is an awesome tool for engraving artwork onto material or even cutting into material. And that is what a lot of people use this laser for. But today I want to explore another option with the Xtool laser, and that is to make a box for holding an inverter remote. The inverter I have has a remote that's supposed to be able to mount to a wall, but it is very awkward and poorly designed. So in this video, I'm going to use the Xtool laser to create a housing or box that will let me easily mount my inverter remote onto the wall. So let's go ahead and jump in to this concept idea that I have. This is the inverter remote control that I'm working with. It's supposed to mount on a wall. It's just got an on and off switch right here. And there's supposed to be a cable that comes out the back, which would make it very awkward to mount. And also, it's got these tiny little screw holes right here. And so how are you going to get a screw in there that's long enough and a place for this cable to go into? So let's design a mounting system for this. So the first thing that I've done is take a pair of calipers, and I have measured out the dimensions of my box. I got that way, I got this way, and I also got the depth. I then took measurement from the back of the box there to the front. I also got the thickness here and just got all the dimensions I would need to make this little housing. Let's step over here to the computer and see if we can't come up with something that will allow this to easily mount onto the wall. This is lightburn. Now you can use the program that comes with the Xtool laser, but I highly recommend that you get lightburn because the options are quite amazing actually that you can use to design things with. So this is not a tutorial on how to use lightburn, so I'm just going to kind of show you. I started off with using the square, and then I was able to type in the dimensions that I need. I actually went with millimeters over here, so it's an easy way to use this here, and you can basically design as you go, and it's a very nice program that lets you work with. So let me go ahead and show you the final design that I have. All right, check this out. So I have designed the holder for this inverter remote. I've even named it over here, and I'm actually going to sell this. So if you have this inverter, then you can check out the link down below to buy this box yourself. But it's mostly just a video to show you that there are so many options available here for the Xtool laser. So I cut out this square here for the inverter remote front display. This holds the back of it where that little cable comes out of. This over here is the back, which has screw holes cut into it. And then this right here will hold the sides in place. This is where the cable will come out. And this right here and here, here, and here are for this spot to go into. I'll show you all this here in just a moment. This is a top and a bottom, and then you can also find over here I've got an engraving for the social media. If you have this box, you can link me in your posts. So now before we cut this out, you notice there's a blue line, a red line, some black text, and also these images here. Those are on different layers, as you can see down here on the bottom. If I click over here, so this first one is a fill, and it's going to do 170 and 50 for the speed and power. If you go to the black, this is the images that you saw down here, and it's going to engrave those. The red is also just a line, and it just zips that real quick to emphasize these words. And lastly is the cut. So I've got a single pass, speed of 5, and a power of 80. And that's going to cut out everything here from the Baltic birch 1/8" plywood. Now, before we can actually begin the cut, we need to set our material in the laser. I've got my piece of Baltic birch plywood. I'm going to set down here in the Xtool, and I'm going to move the head over, and then I'm going to first do a test for the depth, and that is perfect because that's what I was already using. So that laser will be focused now. So now what I want to do is place that X in this corner and then move this down, and I can see that that line's already going off. So I need to hold this corner and just move this over a little bit. See how that does. ever so slightly off again. There we go. Got that side locked down, and that one's good as well. So, all right, now that we have that focused to where we want it, we'll go ahead and turn on the exhaust fan. I like to open my window here, stick the exhaust out, and then because it's cold out today, I just put this piece of cardboard here and close that down. Another project that's coming up in the future is to use the laser to also cut out a hole for this so that it will be fitting in here perfectly, and I can just throw it in there and won't have to use this cardboard piece. I'm also going to turn on the air assist, and that just simply blows a jet of air out from the bottom of the laser here. Now that we have that set up, it's time to do a frame. Very good. So the reason you do a frame is to see if you are out of bounds. And so as you can see, I have put this in the wrong orientation. So this needs to be like this. So I highly recommend that you run a frame on a new project. Much better. Everything is in the bounds on that one. Now that I have the workpiece in position, I'm going to close up this enclosure. I'm going to put on my green safety glasses so I won't damage my eyes from looking into this laser. Let's go ahead and press the start button. So it's going to work from the top down. So first of all, it's going to start doing the engraving. So as you can see, it's starting there with some of those words that I have on that card. As the laser is cutting out what I believe to be the final version of this box, there's nothing wrong with having mistakes as you prototype. Let me show you a couple of my first attempts here and how I have improved my box as I've gone along. So let me take you down here real quick and you can see the changes that I've had to make on my design. In version number 1, this middle U section didn't go down low enough, as you can see right here. So whenever I went to put the top and bottom on, so I had the front here and I slid the remote into position, and that part worked really well. But as you can see, there's no room for the top and bottom to fit down in there. It gets in the way like that. So I had to redesign to change that up. So let's move that to the side. There's the SethCraft logo there on the top. So design number 2, I did drop down that U piece, as you can see in there. And so when I did that, I then had plenty of room for the lid to go into. But then I didn't realize that this piece also goes up to that. So whenever I went to put this on, it still had that wonky design there and did not match up. So my third and I think final design, I just brought this piece up to match the top of that. I then brought the back up to also match that top piece and did the same down here. I moved this and this and this down so that the lid and the floor or the base would all match up and do really well there. So anyway, we'll see how it does whenever it comes out of the laser here. I think we're about ready. But you can see my design lets the cord come out here, and then it's got the holes on the side to attach this to the wall. So I haven't of course tested it out yet, but I think it's going to do quite well. The laser is now well underway for cutting out all of those components, as you can see here. With the 1/8 inch plywood, it's pretty quick. For the 1/4 inch, I have to use 2 passes in order to get a nice clean cut through that. Alright, whenever that finishes up, we will put this together and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it looks like the laser has finished. Let's open up the enclosure and see how well this new project has cut. That's the leftover material there from this cut. So if you were to need this product, I would ship it like this right here in the little card. Let's see, there may be one spot right here that didn't cut all the way through, probably because I need to clean off the laser lens. So let's go ahead and pull all of these out. Looks like everything else has cut very nicely here. Okay, that's a general idea of what it looks like out of the card. And you can pop the pieces down like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this, see what it's going to be like whenever it is assembled. That's the base piece. This goes on one of the sides. I made it like this so you could change one side or the other depending on where the cable needs to be facing. Do that. This little piece goes in the middle. Of course, you would be using super glue or wood glue to put all these together. And then this would be the front piece right here. And then I've got the bottom and the top. Very good. And then up here you can either have the SethCraft logo facing or not facing. Let's hide it on this case here. All right, there we go. That's the little box and what it looks like when it's finished. Now, I went ahead and printed out 2 of these and have this one already glued up. And so I actually know that this one actually fits the remote nice and smooth here. So let me get that remote. There we go. So as you can see, fits there. You can put the top on. Now, I wouldn't glue the top because if you ever have to get back into that, you can just pull this free here and get to it. But there we go. Cool. Let's step down to my shop and install this real quick to see what it looks like. All right, just step down to my studio space where I've got my little box here, and this is going to slip down in there to allow me to mount this on the wall. So first thing I want to do is stick that cable through, and then I can connect this to the back. There we go, pretty simple. And then this whole remote slides in there. Very cool. And now I can put the lid on. There it goes. All right, very cool. And now I think I'm gonna mount it right there. So whenever I walk in the door, I can just reach up and click that. And so to do that, I've just got a couple of screws. There we go. I like it. I probably could have made the box a little less deep, but it's working out really well. It'll make it nice and easy to just reach up and turn that power on whenever I need to. So basically that cord right there sneaks around over here and goes to an inverter. It's a 2000 watt LeapTrend inverter, and that's what powers my studio lights out here. I'm glad to see that my efforts paid off making this little box for my inverter remote. If you're not familiar with inverters, if you leave them on all the time, it does drain your battery on my off-grid system. So having the remote allows me to save the battery. But this box worked out very well. I just wanted to bring you along to show you that the Xtool laser is useful for more than just engraving on things. You can also cut out this 1/8" plywood, no problem whatsoever. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, hit that thumbs up button. And if you want to check out more information on the Xtool D1 Pro 20 watt laser, I will have a link to that in the description down below. I'm Seth with the SethCraft Workshop, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.